Good afternoon and welcome to Your Data When, Where and How You Want It, a webinar for the IT professional looking for answers for their data extraction, transformation, distribution or integration requirements. Now today we're going to introduce a solution that addresses all your IBMI data out requirements, for one solution that can do it all from data in a spool file or in the database. We'll look how we can automate the use of this data for the creation of electronic forms, reports, the load of data warehouses with speedy transformation and transfer of almost anything and everything on the box. My name is Andrew Nicholson and I'll be your host for today's webinar. I'm joined today by Denise Osborne, our data extraction product leader, who will be taking us through some of the live demonstrations to show you how this technology can work with you and your business today. Welcome to the webinar, Denise.
Thanks, Andy. Good afternoon, everybody.
Now, I'll also be hosting the question and answer session at the end of this webinar. So, should you wish to learn more or have any questions throughout today's presentation, then please may I draw your attention to the webinar management tool floating somewhere on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, within the management bar is a questions panel. Please may I ask you to post your questions here, and we'll answer these towards the end. Now, forgive us if you hear any noise on the line as well. We have some building work outside our studio, so there might be a few clumps and bangs, but believe me, it's not us two scrapping it out in the broadcast studio. But we've much to pack in today's session, so without too much further ado, grab yourself a coffee, pull up a chair, and we'll begin. It should be reassuring to know that today's presentation comes from industry leaders in IBMI integration and intelligence solutions, Utilities 400. Now, Utilities 400 have a proud history of supporting businesses on IBMI. We've an accumulation of approximately 100 years of AS400 experience poured into products developed to meet your needs of the businesses running on the I platform. And it's with this that Utilities 400 understands the needs of a modern enterprise. With over 300 businesses worldwide relying on our solution, we provide a unique mix of expertise and experience that help evolve your business processes, from process automation and business portals to integration and document management. We have a toolbox of solutions that can help your business become more competitive through better enabling, well, any ERP system on the IBM System I. Now, all solutions have been designed to leverage the power of the platform. We simply get the best out of your enterprise without the need for expensive and in some ways restraining bespoke work. But today we're focusing on your data extraction, transformation, distribution and integration requirements. And as such, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to RouteOne. Now, RouteOne is a multimodal solution that addresses your data delivery requirements. I mean, whatever these may be these for replacing pre-printed stationery with your own pre-formatted e-forms, generating data warehouses quickly, reliably and securely, or producing scalable spreadsheets with pivots and multiple workbooks. We don't discriminate. It's your data. It's your choice. However your business requires data, RouteOne has three processes to achieve this. The first being extract. We believe that the IBMI is an amazing transactional platform. However, when it comes to extracting data, where, when, and how you want it, well, it's somewhat lacking, and that's why we're here. And RouteOne is unique in its ability to extract data from both the database and spool file, or indeed a mix of both. Now, once we've extracted the data, we need to transform it. Be this for reports and statements in spreadsheets, alerts for text messages, invoice and orders in Microsoft Word, or other databases such as Oracle, Access and more. We transform the data using your rules, pre- and post-format your information to suit your business and application requirements. In a nutshell, it's your data, present it how you and your business wants it. Finally, we have distribute. Distribute your data in the format of choice in speeds of up to 5 times as fast as conventional client-server technology. Trigger emails, populate warehouses, securely send files, schedule events, fax, and even SMS. RouteOne has a wealth of options for the distribution of data from the IBMI to most other platforms. But how do other businesses use RouteOne? Well, RouteOne has many uses, and one such use is for the swift and secure data transfer. It's a fantastic tool for secure send of files or automated population of external databases using its rules-based ETL, that's extract, transform, and load engine. It's fast, 5 times faster than ODBC, it's reliable and secure, critical for rapid and robust data warehousing or daily file transfers or integration. RouteOne uses low-level socket technology, of which, in addition to being super quick, it can also recover from broken or terminated connections, ideal for transferring large amounts of data. And that's why businesses use RouteOne as part of their critical IT processes. In this example here, a major high street retailer downloaded their distribution database from the many hundreds of outlets and distribution centers for the creation of a data warehouse. Now, using client-server methods for download and reconciliation of this data took over 60 hours. In fact, the connection proved unreliable, resulting more time and money being lost. As a result, the data warehouse was built at best once a week. This proved insufficient for a management team who needed to react quickly in the fast-moving goods area. But through the implementation of RouteOne, we provided a robust transfer method and brought the time down to below 5 hours. This improvement meant that the company could reliably produce data warehouse daily, increase their business agility and performance. No matter what happened, even if a communication broke down for whatever reason, we didn't have to start from scratch. We could start from a fail point. And in addition to that, a full audit trail was maintained so they could report on that and audit it. But is doing this easy? How long does it take to set up? And what options do I have? Well, the best way of explaining this is providing a quick demonstration of what we can do here. And so at this point, I'd like to welcome back Denise, who will take us through data extraction for data warehousing or other purposes to the likes of Access, Oracle, SQL, and more. So welcome back to the webinar, Denise.
Thanks very much, Andy.
Right, let me make you the presenter. And away we go. Over to you.
Okay. Again, thanks, Andy. And yes, it is that easy. In this first example, I'm going to demonstrate extracting data to populate both SQL and Oracle databases using the same rules. What you see here is the RouteOne menu. And we're going to go into the rules engine, which is option 1, we like to call definitions. And if I just navigate to our orders extract, which is what we're going to do. Okay, and a to change. What you can see here is we're extracting shoe orders. We're going to be using 3 files and several fields from those files. In addition, RouteOne will allow you to create result fields that are not contained in the files. In this example here, we've created 2 of these. The first one is just to calculate the number of days it's taken to deliver an order. In the second one, we're taking a value from the file and putting some intelligence behind it. Let me just show you. For ease of use for the users, we have substituted a single alpha character with a description, i.e. here. The final database will include data entry if the order was keyed in directly onto the system, and similar with XML, web or EDI orders. In addition to this, what we've done, we've put a record selection in. So we're only going to extract orders for a single date. And really, that is all there is to it. Now, what we need to do is run this through to SQL, and then we're going to show you the Oracle transfer. So if we come out of our rules engine and go into our transfer request. Okay. So what you can see here, we've created a transfer with SQL selected in the conversion file type. If I just put my cursor on here and do F4, you can see the many different file types that RouteOne supports. Okay, all we need to do now is run that request. We've set up the rules, we've said where we want it to go, and I'm just trying to transfer the information. If I quickly shoot over to our server where the SQL resides, what you're seeing in front of you here is the RouteOne client engine. It receives the file and populates the SQL database. Now if we open SQL, we see, we open our tables, we've got no order lines table in there, just refresh, go back into our tables, and now we have an order lines database. Notice again from the results field we created just a short while ago, we've got an order source and the number of days it's taken to deliver the order. Now that's it into SQL. So how do we do it into Oracle? It really is as simple as just creating another transfer, but instead of SQL in the conversion type, we've just got ORA for Oracle. Let me show you. Okay, here we go. You see again, we just have Oracle in there instead of SQL. And again, I'm just going to run that through to the server, open up our RouteOne client window, and we can see already that the table has come through into Oracle. Now let me just open our Oracle database. We just have to sign in here with our user. Okay, and we're going to navigate to the tables within the Oracle database. And this time we're looking for, our user Scott. So you can see it's the same information here, our order lines that we created in SQL. I'm going to view the data. We want to take a look at all the fields and then just OK that. So you can see it's the same information and it's as easy to transfer it to SQL, to Oracle, to Access, to XLS. So one important thing to mention about RouteOne is the fact that there's full visibility and audit trails. Just let me show you that before we move on to our next example. If I do a 9, which is the history, what you're seeing here is the information of how many bytes have been transferred, the time, the location, and the duration of the transfer. This information is recorded for every single transfer and transaction within RouteOne. Andy, it's that simple. I'm going to pass back to you now so we can move on to the next example. Don't forget to pose any questions, guys, if you want us to answer them at the end of the demonstrations.
Terrific. Thanks very much, Denise. It really is that simple as setting it up. But not only is it simple, but it's far more robust, far quicker, more reliable, and more secure than using traditional client-server methodologies. But RouteOne has more uses than data transfer, though. One of the more popular methods of using RouteOne is for electronic form generation. Now, RouteOne is unique in its ability to create electronic forms from IBMI Spool files, databases, and we mean plural there, or indeed a mix of both. RouteOne has a powerful rules-based engine that can analyze a spool file, split and transform the data, and populate pre-designed deforms in MS Word. It's quick and easy using industry-standard tools. The populated forms can then be printed on a printer of choice or transformed to PDF for automated emailing. If appropriate, you could even create an HTML document for e-marketing or even send SMS. It's your choice. But how do businesses use RouteOne for electronic forms? Well, in the example that you have just seen on your screen, a major food service company with headquarters in Leeds spends over a week and many hundreds of pounds each month to distribute statements. Twice a month, they print the spool report, guillotine the paper, split the reports for each location, package the reports into envelopes, rank each consignment, then post to over 20,000 locations. As you can imagine, this process was time and labor intensive. The statements were basic text and unprofessional, but more importantly, it was expensive and slow. By the time the statements had been received, the data was out of date. Through the implementation of RouteOne, the expense, labor, and time element were removed instantly. We picked up the statements from the spool file, automatically split the data, transformed it into formatted forms, which were distributed electronically to each and every location in PDF format. A 5-day, expensive, time-consuming manual task was transformed into an automated same-day process. As you can imagine, return on investment was in a matter of weeks. The methodology of creating electronic forms is similar to that which we demonstrated earlier. Allow me to reintroduce Denise, who will take us through these steps and demonstrate how powerful RouteOne is as an electronic form creation and distribution solution. Denise, welcome back to our webinar.
Thanks, Andy.
Let me make you a presenter.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay, what I'm aiming to show you in this example is a digital document produced automatically through RouteOne. Let's take a real-life scenario. A customer places an order which is entered onto the system, and from there a spool file is created on the iSeries. What I'm going to demonstrate here is how to automatically produce and email that order acknowledgement to the customer using the spool file produced. The request will create a PDF document for emailing. Let's just take a quick look at the document we're going to be producing. I just flick over to the server, and what you see there is an order acknowledgement as a PDF file. Okay, so the first thing we do again is create the rules where we specify which lines and fields we're going to be using in the document to be emailed to the customer. Let's go into our rules engine. Okay, what you can see here is we're going to be using a process called mail merge. Using the Microsoft Word application, we'll take the spool file data and merge it with a template. Okay, just press enter. You'll notice here that the colour coding of different line types. We've done this by using F7, our line identification key, to find something that uniquely identifies a line. Our detail lines here have a number 1 against them, and very simply these are the only lines that there can be multiples of. So in the next screen, this will allow you to specify how many detail lines you want per page. This makes your original spool file much more flexible, so you have complete control of your output document. Now we're happy we have all the information we need. We can go through to the next screen. Okay, on here you'll notice that it's possible to link from a spool file to a database file, which we've done. And what we've done here is picked up the email address because we want to link back to our customer file, pick up their email address, so they're automatically going to have an order acknowledgement email to them. To do this, we're going to create what we call an external field. Quite simply, these fields can be used to name documents or pick up email addresses as we're doing now. I'll just go into our external fields. You'll see there we've picked up the email address. We've also picked up the address line 1, which is the customer name, and the reference, so we can give our file a name. You'll see how this all ties in when we run the request. Now we're happy with all the information we need to create our document, we create our transfer. And again, I'm just going to go straight through to our FTP request. You remember earlier we wanted to transfer to Oracle and SQL, and we put the convert to file type in here. At this time, we're just going to leave it simply as a CSV file. So for the demonstration, I'm going to run this request manually, but in a live environment, RouteOne will monitor the output queue for the arrival of the spool file and automatically process the order acknowledgement. Before we do that, let's just take a look at the template we're going to be populating. What you see in front of you is a Word template which has been produced that contains all the fields from our iSeries spool file. Let's just now return to the request and run it and see how all this ties in. Okay, within our request I've just taken simply our function key F11, and what this is showing you that we're going to be creating both a Word document which is populated again by our external field from the file, and we're also going to be creating a PDF file, and that's what's going to be emailed to the customer. Alternatively, you might want to print your documents, and if this is the case, you specify a printer name in here and the number of copies you wish to produce. Now let's run it through. We'll see the created file. Remember, we've put an email against it, so we'll also be able to see the email arriving. Okay, we're going to be picking up the spool file we want, and I very quickly navigate over again to our server. You'll see the RouteOne client engine. It's receiving the CSV file, it's opening up the template, it's creating another document, and also a PDF document, and now it's sent the email for delivery to a recipient, which in this case is me. So if I just quickly do a send and receive on here, There we have our email of our order acknowledgement. Okay, so RouteOne will email the result directly using your choice of email client. I've used Outlook here, but this could be Lotus, SMTP, or a number of other email applications, including Google Mail. Okay, it's back to you, Andy, and that's how easy it is to create electronic forms within RouteOne.
Thank you very much, Denise. And what's beautiful about this, and I know one of the comments is, well, okay, we're using Microsoft Word there, but it's the most commonly used interface to create forms in the world. We don't have to train you in something that we've created, you know, that has limitations in its formatting or graphic design or what boxes we can create, where we can put our logos and stuff. No, it's an industry standard tool. Very little training is required. In fact, pretty much everyone, even myself, can use that one product. And there's more to eForms that we can't cover today, as it's really a webinar in itself, but we have a comprehensive document management solution that can manage, store, and retrieve all content pertinent to the job in hand. More on how you can join the document management webinar later. But we demonstrated how easy it is to remove your pre-printed stationery and reduce your postage costs through the automated electronic form generation and distribution tool. But what if we still demand more? Not just forms, but reports. Not static documents, but something we can pivot and analyze. Well, thankfully, RouteOne offers more. And RouteOne is a fabulous tool for automating report generation. Do you have data, results, forecasts that need to be in your inbox each morning, twice a week, once a month? Well, RouteOne can take the data you need and populate a spreadsheet. Well, okay, nice. But in addition, RouteOne can take the hassle out of formatting these reports by automatically performing post-processing routines. So when you open your spreadsheet, it's ready to use with items such as pivot tables, filters, graphics, and graphs. Now, as before, with eForms and SQL, the methodology is familiar. Most IT departments have limited resource and skill sets are stretched. So a solution such as RouteOne that can provide all this functionality in one product is a godsend. No retraining is required, data management is centralized, and other disparate systems that you're probably paying maintenance on can be phased out, meaning that processes are streamlined, more robust, and certainly more cost-effective. We'll now take you through how to use RouteOne for reports. And sorry, Denise, you've barely had a chance to have a drink of coffee, but I'm going to make you presenter again.
That's fine, no worries. I'll just wait until I'm the presenter. Okay, thanks, Andy. So you see the familiar RouteOne screen. In this example here, I'm going to populate an Excel spreadsheet and incorporating a clever macro behind the scenes, produce a BI dashboard. Again, we're going to go into our rules engine, option 1, and just navigate to our rules. So, very simply, in this example, I'm only going to be using one file. I'm also going to be using all the fields from that file. Remember, we're downloading the data and incorporating the Excel functionality. RouteOne, as Andy said, is a fabulous integration tool, and it brings together many different technologies and applications. So without further ado, this is a very quick example. I'm going to go directly to the FTP request. You'll notice the difference in here in this one. We've chosen Excel as our convert to file type option. Okay, so we're going to be having a workbook here called Visual Sales and a worksheet within that called Data. So let's run it. Save. Okay, I'll flick quickly back over to our RouteOne client and try and open that before the transfer comes through. We've done it midway through here. You have to be quick with RouteOne. It really does work very, very quickly. Okay, so we're populating a workbook named Visual Sales in here and a worksheet called Data. So let's have a look at the file we've created. And this is it, our Visual Sales. So this has fed the data into the Data tab, which will automatically run a macro to update the dashboard sheet. And if we take a look at the Dashboard tab, We see the data has been transferred, transformed using RouteOne very, very simply. Again, don't forget you can schedule these, you can run them automatically, you can put them behind users' menus, or you can even include in your own CL. It's back to you, Andy. That was a quick one.
Thank you very much, Denise. And yes, I mean, I think what's key here is that it is quick. It's extremely quick to create, well, anything, you know, to populating a warehouse, to creating a report, to creating electronic forms. Things are done in less than a second. And that's key here, key for businesses. If you're pushing out large volumes, you want it to be done then and there. You want it to be done quickly, reliably, securely, or in one transaction. So we've shown you how to transfer files securely at speeds of up to 5 times that of ODBC. We've demonstrated how we can remove pre-printed stationery and lower your postage costs. And we've also presented a way to automate reports, making meaningful data a possibility to the consumers of information when, where, and how they want it. But how do we do this? Well, RouteOne contains an integrated rules-based engine that allows us to use one data set on the IBM and extract, transform, and deliver it in the format of choice. So in fact, RouteOne can transform the same data set and distribute it to different people, customers, suppliers, as you see fit. So your manager wants the data as a report in a spreadsheet for him to use and edit as he sees fit. However, your team member just wants summary information, so would like the data to populate a table in Microsoft Word. Our directors, on the other hand, just want a static document that they can review and store. All this from one data source, transformed and distributed using your own business logic. Finally, should you have other enterprise systems such as CRM or SharePoint, or want to send data such as orders electronically, then RouteOne can deliver data to these too. Indeed, these days, XML is becoming the norm in sending digital instructions to, say, suppliers, customers, partners. Whereas perhaps EDI prevailed in the not too distant past, the EDI standard was complex, rigid, long-winded, and as a result, expensive to implement and manage. XML is quickly replacing these old standards, and RouteOne provides an excellent solution to manage the creation and distribution for all your business requirements. So let's show you how. And for the final time, I'd like to welcome back Denise to the webinar.
Thanks,
Welcome
Andy.
back. I'll make you presenter for the final time there.
Okay, you should be familiar with this screen by now, our RouteOne screen on the 400. Okay, in this final example, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to send XML data. In the first instance, you'll either have written yourself or been supplied with an XML template to populate. And let's have a look at the one we're going to be using, because you can upload it straight onto the iSeries. So if I choose option 7 this time for XML options, and then a 2 to work with our templates, we've got one here called OP XML board. We just do a 2 to change and take a look at that. Okay, so you're looking at some XML here. So we're going to be populating order information with data taken from our database files. I'm not shouting here, I think the workmen outside have just stepped it up a gear. If I scroll down to the first field we come to is our order number field, and this is what's been taken from the file. Okay, that was just showing you the XML. I'm going to come out of that, and you'll be familiar now with going into our rules engine of how we populate that. Okay, so in this instance we're using 4 files. We've linked those together, and several fields from each of those files. What we've also done is, again, is to create a result field, because we're going to be taking the order date and using part of that of the XML that we're going to create. Also, in this example, we're going to be creating XML with single orders, so we've chosen to include what we call a runtime parameter, and this will allow users to enter the information at runtime. Alternatively, you can pass RouteOne parameters, so you can send a number of orders at a time rather than just single orders. So let's see how it all ties together. If we go into our advanced options here, all we need to tell RouteOne is the template that we're using. Okay. And here in the first character of the field name, you can see an ampersand. If By using a character prior to the field, if the XML should fail on data from the files, you can easily determine the value to amend. Okay, now that's complete. We have everything we need, and it's just a case of running the transfer. Again, it's important to note that all transfers provide complete visibility and audit trails. Okay, we'll go into our transfers, and we'll run that through. If we do an F8 because we had a runtime parameter in there to run it, and we navigate to our RouteOne folder, okay, and there we have our XML. Those of you familiar with using XML will recognise what that looks like. So again, it's another very simple example of how RouteOne can be used to send your data anywhere you want it, in the format of your choice and at the time you want. Just one more thing before I hand back over to you, Andy. What you've seen today is the transfer of data manually. In fact, RouteOne can be run in several ways. You can schedule extracts, monitor output queues, include some CL, or even as options behind a user's menu. So thanks for joining me for the demonstrations, and I'll now pass you back to Andy.
Thank you very much, Denise. So, in summary, RouteOne provides in one solution what many businesses struggle to complete within a number of products and in-house developments. It can transform data from your database and/or Spool file to a multitude of formats for your data requirements, be this electronic forms, reports, large batch file transfer, or extract, transfer, load procedures for data warehousing. But it's not just its capabilities in various format requirements, it's also the way that we can employ the rules engine and use the data intelligently. So load an SQL warehouse at 5 times the speed of client-server technologies. Transfer files securely with inbuilt fail-safes and full audit trails. Remove pre-printed stationery and email statements, reports, invoices. SMS update articles or distribute reports depending upon who you are and how you want to see it. RouteOne can consolidate the multitude of in-house solutions and third-party products. Probably because of technology gap, paying annual maintenance on more than you need, or supporting multiple applications. So if you're looking to save time and money and would like to learn more, ask us. Let us explore how RouteOne can improve efficiencies in your business, saving time, saving money. So thank you for joining us today. Today we provided you with an introduction to RouteOne, demonstrating how quick, robust and flexible the product is at delivering your data where, when and how you want it. Now, as you can probably imagine, there's plenty more that we could have shown you today, and if you feel you'd like to explore any one item in more detail, please do not hesitate to contact us. Indeed, we have a webinar scheduled for the 7th of August that expands upon the electronics part of this webinar. Digital documents will take an in-depth look at how we can capture all documents created and store them offline in a central repository, either on or off the IBMI, say in SQL. During the webinar, we'll show you the Google-like web-based library system that allows for easy search and retrieval of all content. Not only the statements, invoices, purchase orders and so on we created through electronic forms, but for reports we created too, plus the ability to store scanned or other media too, all linked, all audited, all reportable, of course with the right permissions. As you joined us today, you'll automatically be added to the registration, and don't worry if you can't make it, as, like this webinar, we'll be recording this event too. So on to the questions and answers. Now we have one that's come in from Dale Crow, and he asks, you mentioned in passing SMS, but I didn't see this. And well spotted, Dale. Yes, when we say you can take anything from the eye and deliver it via a system that suits you and your businesses, we mean it. SMS is one of the many ways we can distribute data. We demonstrated email, FTP, because it's more visceral, you can see it. But yes, it's entirely up to you on how you deliver your data. Just select a different setting. And be aware of the limitations of the methods you use, i.e. you don't want to be sending a 15-page document via SMS. But customers use SMS extensively for such uses as SMS confirmations of orders, status alerts, quick snapshot reports and the like. But equally, you could use perhaps a fax, a selected network printer, publish something in HTML or XML, whatever. What we don't want to do is provide limits. Simply speaking, it's your data, it should be your choice in how you control that. And the integrated rules engine allows for this. Do we have any more questions before I close the session? Then it leaves me to say thank you very much for joining today's webinar. We do hope to see you again at Digital Documents. A recording of this webinar will be sent to you via a link in a day's time. So if you missed anything or wanted to see anything in any more detail, then please view the recording. But of course, both Denise and I are available to answer any questions you may have. Please do send us an email with your questions or indeed even just feedback. We'd be very happy to see those and respond accordingly. So on behalf of Denise and myself, thank you very much for attending, and I wish you a very good afternoon. Goodbye.